Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Think Tank Sports. Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen. Check us out on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and the IG for those of you who are newer and younger in our audience, of which I don't think there's many of you. And listen to us on Anchor or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch these two glorious bastards on YouTube because we are out there too, for your viewing pleasure. And Mike, it's Super Bowl week. Finally.
Dave, are we allowed to say that?
Yes.
Super
Yes.
Bowl?
I heard it
Okay.
multiple times on the radio today.
Not the big game or the championship or whatever crap people put in their commercials.
Nope. It's Super Bowl week, folks. Finally.
Yeah.
I wish we could get rid of the week in between. I really do. I think it's just so ridiculous. And the NFL just every chance they can to just drag it out and draw up drama, if you will. But anyways, Mike, how the heck are you before we get into all the Super Bowl stuff?
Dave, it's Super Bowl week. I'm doing good.
Nice.
We survived. I know everyone's waiting for my weather update, as I seem to be giving every week. Survived the coldest spell of the winter. We had a little negative 35 with the wind chill the other day, negative 20 air temps. Yeah, it was bad. But guess what? I didn't leave the house, and I stayed in shorts and a t-shirt. So we're all good. Dave, I started researching this matchup, and I was like, I'm undecided. I texted you early today. I said, confirming we're going to record tonight. And I said, I can't wait to see what we say, because I'm still really not 100% sure who I'm going to pick.
Yeah.
And you said the same thing. So I got a good chuckle out of it. And then I found this little stat package to start with.
Here we go. Bring it on.
This is from your boy, Field Yates, via Twitter. The Chiefs this year, 16-3 overall record, 546 points scored, 6 All-Pros, including a Kelsey brother and their QB, and the AFC's #1 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles. Tell me if this is familiar, Dave. 16-3 record, same. 546 points scored, exactly the same. 6 All-Pros, including a Kelsey brother and their QB, same. #1 seed in the NFC. So guess what? It is an evenly matched game, Dave. Have you made a decision?
No. We're not. We're gonna wait till the end for that one.
All right. But 3 hours from now, you'll have an answer.
Yes. Yeah. And I will waffle, of course, as I always do. So those stats that Mike put up include the playoffs, by the way.
Correct.
Point totals. The Eagles defensively a little bit better.
If you have some.
Nope. I'm just looking at the regular season numbers and obviously the playoff numbers for the Eagles defense. They're only giving up 7 points per game in their 2 playoff games. So the Eagles defense,
not a real fail sample size in that.
Yeah,
but it is what it is, right?
It is what it is. The teams that they played did not score very much. So,
and those being my Giants. So let's go through some raw numbers, and then we'll break it down by position and go from there. Okay, Dave?
Yep, go for it.
Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. So these are the overall rankings for the teams for the regular season. So 1 through 32 possibilities. Offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. #1 overall.
Numero uno.
Yeah. Yards #1, passing yards 1, passing touchdowns 1. Rushing yards 20th.
Yep.
Rushing TDs 7th. Red zone touchdowns 1st. Overall touchdowns 1st. So overall 1, like we said. On the Philadelphia side of the ledger, 4th overall in offense, 5th on total points, 2nd in yards. This is in the NFC, so it'd be 1 out of. No, this is total NFL.
No, total NFL. Yep.
9th in passing yards, 14th in passing TDs, fifth in rushing TDs. Rushing yards. First in rushing TDs.
touchdowns. Yeah.
Third in the red zone as far as touchdowns go, and overall second offensively in their rankings. Quite interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that as far as a full, when you look at their offensive group, the skill positions are good. We'll get to the offensive line, which was tremendous. But still, I didn't think of Philadelphia as a prolific scoring team all season. Did you?
I mean, they definitely have had some moments. I mean, there were a bunch of games during the regular season where we said, my gosh, I mean, they just,
that's true. They did put some blowouts.
Fired on all cylinders, particularly before Jalen Hurts got hurt.
Right.
They were cruising. I mean, they were 13-1, think about that. They were 13-1.
Wow. That's true.
And
then Gardner Minshew got a couple starts with the injury. And, they kind of took it easy at the end.
So, they're right there.
Right. So for me, when I came into this, I thought the Chiefs offense is going to be, ahead of Philadelphia by quite a bit. And it's just not the case.
No.
Defensively, let's go to the defensive rankings.
Let's do that.
With the Chiefs, total points, they were 16th. Yards, they were 12th. Passing yards, 19th. Passing touchdowns, 32nd last in the league. Rushing yards, 8th. Rushing touchdowns, 4. Red zone touchdowns allowed, 29th. So you can have them when you get.
So you can throw the ball.
Yep.
Arguably throw the ball deep potentially, and you can score touchdowns against them.
Yep.
In the red zone.
13th in total points allowed.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about this too. We'll go back to that. Sorry. I was thinking out loud. Defensive rankings for the Eagles. 8th overall in points. Yards, they were 3rd. And my computer timed out. Okay, passing yards, they were 1st as far as passing yards allowed. Passing touchdowns allowed, 11th. Rushing yards allowed, 16th. Rushing touchdowns, 16th. Red zone touchdowns, 15th. So right in the middle. And then 14th overall for defense and 6th for total points allowed. So the weakness of the Eagles defense seems to be, Dave, rushing touchdowns. But guess what? The offense for Kansas City just doesn't get it done. We said they were very poorly ranked. Where are they here as far as
and this is nothing new. Well, rushing touchdowns, I think you said they were up there. It's just the yardage numbers.
Rushing
I think
touchdowns, they were 10th. I don't know.
I was gonna say, I thought you said 11th, which I was kind of surprised.
Rushing yards, they were 20th, but rushing touchdowns, they were 7th.
7th, yeah.
Because remember, when they get into the reds, because they're first in red zone,
right?
So they run all those stupid little motions and end arounds, and they're not lining up 3 tight ends and pounding it into the middle of the line.
No, definitely not. And so that's, as you start to dig into some of the things, if Kansas City does get down into the red zone against the Eagles, those are the kinds of plays that defensively the Eagles are going to have to be watching out for. And I think that's what makes Kansas City so difficult. Now, I think what you would say on the flip side is, okay, well, then the Eagles need to defend better prior to the Chiefs getting to the red zone, so that the Chiefs don't have the opportunity to run those kinds of plays. Easier said than done, but
of course,
I think the Eagles, defensively, they're up to the task. And I think what I have found most interesting, at least in the dialogue in the off week, if you will,
air quotes,
is how many people are just totally disinterested in this game. All the memes with, people wishing for some sort of like natural disaster outside of,
Chinese weather balloon,
right
or
outside
whatever.
of Kansas City and Philadelphia, and everybody else doesn't give a crap. Folks, you heard the numbers that Mike just put up,
Yeah.
and these are the top 2 seeds in the league in each conference. I mean, this is, and I saw, I was watching Sports Center before we came on, and I saw that, this is the one of the closest point spreads. It's Eagles by 1.5 as we record here on Monday.
Right.
In the Super Bowl. I mean, normally it's not this close. So for people to say they're not interested and blah, 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 like this has the potential to be a very, very close game.
Right.
And to be a very good game, quite honestly. And people just seem to, I don't know, Mike, I don't know if it kind of getting off track here, of course, but
No, it's okay.
I don't know if it's because, the general fan who's not, those of us doing podcasts about it, wants to see the underdog get to the Super Bowl and whatnot. But this has the potential to be a really, really good matchup. And
yeah,
for people to say that they're just not excited about this, I mean, that's kind of crazy in my mind.
They're more excited about the Super Mario Brothers movie and the Barbie movie trailers coming out. You know what I mean? Yeah, there is a little bit.
Or the halftime show.
Yeah, but we're football guys. Let's get back to football.
Yes, let's do that.
Oh, just one more thing that really surprised me. The turnovers battles.
Okay.
Philadelphia, number 1 in sacks.
Yeah.
Number 4 in interceptions, number 7 in forced fumbles, 10 in recoveries, number 1 overall in total turnover battle.
Yep.
For Kansas City, number 2 in sacks. I didn't think that was, I mean, Chris Jones.
Okay, but tell me what is the gap though? Because the Eagles had 70 sacks
55.
During the regular season. The
55.
Chiefs had 55 sacks.
Yeah.
That surprises me. That is a number that I would not have guessed.
I totally agree. I thought the same thing. I looked up the same stat to answer that same question. So I'm glad you asked it. Yeah. Bad minds think alike.
But if you think about it, I mean, 55 sacks is nothing to sneeze at. No, I mean, you say that you're number 2 any other year, that's number 1.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we all know we're not there yet, but we all know the Eagles had 4 guys get 10 sacks this year. That's crazy. Anyway, interceptions for the Chiefs, they're 21st. Forced fumbles, 17. Fumble recoveries, 18th, and total turnover ranking 22 on the season. So their secondary is definitely lacking, and we know Phillies is great. So that's really the big difference there in the turnovers. But let's get down into it, Dave. You want to start anywhere in particular? You mentioned the Chiefs are favored by 1.5. The over/under is 50.
Eagles are favored by 1.5.
Yeah, I said
that too.
The wrong thing.
The other Kelsey team.
Right. One of the Kelseys are favored by 1.5. Over/under 50.5.
50.5. Yep.
Yeah. So just keep those in mind as we talk. Where do you want to start, buddy? Right at the top at quarterback.
Yeah, I guess right at the top at quarterback. Look, there's still some doubts, I think, as far as Jalen Hurts goes. We talked in our conference championship game recap. He had some opportunities in the game against San Francisco and just missed and missed badly. Again, in some of these deeper throws. Again, as we talk about the numbers and you talk about, the Chiefs secondary and their penchant for giving up, passing yards and touchdowns, that's the place where potentially the Eagles could take advantage. Jalen Hurts is going to have to step up, and maybe he's a little more healthy having, the 2 weeks off, blah, 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 blah.
That's one of the things I really question though. I mean, is he healthy? But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think does it give him a week of rest? Sure. Does that make him healthy? I highly doubt it. All that being said, And obviously Patrick Mahomes, not 100% sure. He's got an extra week. He's going to face a lot of pressure, I think. But I think when you look at the quarterbacks, I think you'd be foolish to not say Patrick Mahomes
Oh yeah.
in a landslide
Yep.
if you're going to pick one or the other in this matchup.
Yeah. No, you have. This is probably the most lopsided category. I mean, it's just one because of experience and early success for Mahomes, and two, you know, I just don't believe in Hurts yet, buddy.
Yep.
You know,
And
I'm sorry.
that's totally fair. I mean, we've talked about it.
Yep.
You know, they've got him to the Super Bowl, but this is the game that he has to, you know, put his signature stamp on for people to really, you know, latch on and say, you know, Jalen Hurts is the real deal. I think this is outside of Philadelphia, right? In the national sense.
Correct. That's correct. Very good point in the national sense. So we both have Mahomes. I don't really have any stats to back. You know, I didn't feel like there was a reason to make a
No.
stat.
Well, here's one for you.
Okay,
Patrick Mahomes, 400. This is regular season, 435 completions.
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts, 460 attempts.
Yeah.
Again,
Yep.
that's just they're different styles, obviously. But when you look at Mahomes, has almost as many completions as Jalen Hurts has attempts.
Right.
41 touchdowns to 22 for Jalen Hurts passing. So yeah, very, very, very lopsided.
Okay, let's just move on. Running backs.
Yeah, this is another one, Mike. Very lopsided towards Philadelphia. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Miles Sanders with the 1,200 yards. I think if Jalen Hurts is more of a threat running than Mahomes is, that's the only, I think, difference.
Or would you say that if both were healthy?
I would say that if both were healthy, just based on how Philadelphia runs their offense, Mahomes probably a better scrambler. But Hurts,
I was just going to make that point. Mahomes,
right, but
in the pocket scrambles better.
Yes, but Hurts as far as a straight on runner, I would take him. So in my mind, I included Jalen Hurts and his natural running ability in the running game. Which, you know, maybe that's a little unfair, taking the quarterback, putting him in the
we just
running backs. But I think it's a factor as far as the offense goes. And you certainly have Boston Scott there. He's no slouch. Of course, he's not playing the New York Giants. If he was, then you would say he's going to score at least 2 touchdowns in this game.
Every prop bet would have Boston Scott in it. You know, Dave, okay, if you're going to put Hurts in the running backs as well, and I understand why you would, that's a good point.
Yep.
Then you would have to give it to Philly. If you don't, I'm not so convinced. First of all, they activated Edwards-Helaire today. He's healthy and going to play.
Yeah.
Elicited a shrug from Dave.
You know, I think it's, you know, he hasn't
Pacheco,
played in a few weeks. Yeah, the Pacheco is very good.
He's nice and tough. And I don't think there's a big a gap as a national perspective would give, to borrow your term.
Yes.
But, you know, Scott and Gainwell, you know, really aren't that great for backups. Whereas Edwards-Helaire and I don't know if there's anybody else, I didn't put them down. But agree to disagree. I took Kansas City in this category, buddy. Without Hurts running the ball.
Oh, are you including Melvin Gordon? And
I'm not
Ronald Jones?
No.
The one person you are forgetting is Jerick McKinnon, and he's very nice, a little small at 5'9".
No, but he can get you a third and long.
But yeah,
you know,
he's kind of that one or two, that he's that third down kind of X factor back as far as that goes. But interesting.
You for making my point.
Okay, I'm just helping along, but I don't agree, but helping you along with your decision there. Very, very good job there.
All right, let's go. You want to go wide receiver?
Yep, that's wide receiver.
Do you want to do
this is another area where I really like the Eagles. I'm going to guess you're going to go with Kansas City. Um, I just think it's skill wise, you can talk about Smith Schuster and, MVS, and they have, if you look at their overall numbers for the season, you go, wow, those two guys, they really had very good seasons, both of them. But they're not AJ Brown and Devontae Smith as far as speed, as far as explosive plays. And that's been the Eagles' mark all year. Again, we go back to the Chiefs, rankings against the pass. I think those are going to be huge factors, and are ones where why I am taking the Eagles wide receivers over the Chiefs. And I didn't even mention your good friend Kadarius Toney.
Oh, we're so close, buddy. He's the big spoon on the little spoon. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a gentleman. No. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Eagles as well.
Okay.
When you look at so overall ranking 0 to 100, AJ Brown's got a 93 receiver ranking, and Devonta Smith is 86. The best player for the Chiefs is Juju Smith-Schuster at 83. And then it really drops off. Even MVS and these other guys, Hardman's hurt, Sky Moore, I just don't think they're getting enough out of. Kadarius Toney, we don't even know he's going to play, actually.
Right, and he's also questionable at this
questionable.
point, too.
So I think the Kansas City wide receiver core is above average, but they're not close to what the Eagles have with those top two.
And so here's the interesting piece, right? You look at some of the stats that Mike threw out, and thank you for doing that, big guy. That it's given us a nice base to go back and forth on. The Chiefs have the number one passing offense, yet we just said the Eagles have the better wide receivers. I'm sorry, what? You want us to listen to your podcast and think you guys are really smart at what you do. And we just totally went against the stats that Mike put up.
Sometimes that's the way it is.
Yeah, right. I mean, and that's exactly the case,
That's why we do this. Do we need to talk about tight end? I mean, it's Travis Kelce and the Lance.
Yeah, no, I was like,
I mean,
Dallas Goedert, he's great. He had 50 catches for 700 yards and 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce had 110 catches for 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. So he almost had twice as many yards. Yeah,
that's a wide receiver in a contract year, big money type of season. You know what I mean? That's good for him. All right, buddy. Here's where it's going to get interesting. The offensive line.
Oh, I thought you were going to say kicker.
Oh, we'll get there. We're going to get there. I'll give you Philly's side of it. Philly's got 5 Pro Bowlers. How many people start on the offensive line, Dave?
Last time I checked, it was 5.
Oh, okay. But now this is interesting. They gave up 44 sacks this season in 536 attempts. That's the worst ratio in the NFL.
Wow.
But 536 pass attempts is second to last in the NFL for regular starting quarterbacks.
So what you're saying is,
so if that rate,
when teams know that the Eagles are going to pass the ball, they're teeing off on them and getting to them.
Right. So that is very interesting. You got to remember there's 2, maybe 3 Gardner Minshew games in there, and he takes a lot of sacks. But still, I thought that was that's a little seedy underbelly that I don't know will make a difference, but that really stuck out to me. As far as the Kansas City offensive line, they're kind of ranked in the middle everywhere. They're not, I don't know. I didn't see anything that I thought was worthy of sharing, but I don't know if you have
Mm.
anything, buddy.
No, I mean, that
Yeah,
certainly,
there's really not a
you
lot of
know,
stats for offensive line,
no,
too.
you know, again, you look at the passing yards, they can clearly pass block. The struggle, you know, again, is going to be some of the run blocking and being able to get some yards there. I think that's where you can look at those things.
Right.
Um,
The Kansas City line is very athletic. They do a lot of screens and
yep.
pulling and,
Mhm.
student body rights and that kind of thing. Where the Philly line, they do a lot of, I was listening to Max Crosby of the Raiders talking about playing Philly for some reason. And he was saying they just come at you at different angles, and it's a little different than your standard blocking packages. And
Hmm.
so it takes a while. And he said it took me like a quarter and a half to really get an understanding of who was coming at me and when before I even figured out how to beat them. So
Hmm.
very interesting. But I gave Philly the nod in this category, Dave.
Yes. Me.
I think you
Yeah.
have to, right?
Yep, me as well. Back quickly as we were talking, Gardner Minshew sacked 6 times in the 5 games,
Okay.
so not too
Oh, he played in
terrible.
5 games.
He
Oh,
played in,
must have got in garbage time.
yeah,
Couple of them,
yeah,
maybe. Yeah. Okay.
but you know, there's that, and there's you know, so it
Okay.
wasn't too bad, 6 sacks.
No, out of 44. Yeah.
Right,
Right.
but again, you look at, you know, the number of passing attempts. I think that's
Right.
you know, very,
Double on the Kansas City side. So we
yep,
know
very,
that.
very important there as far as that goes.
Sure. So where you want to go next,
Uh,
buddy?
well, I
Defense or you want to go specials?
know. No, I think we can go defense.
All right.
I think that's a great,
A good
great,
place to go.
good
Well,
place to, yeah, good place to start. And you look at the defensive line, Mike.
yeah.
I know you have Chris Jones on the Kansas City side. Uh, but for me, it's like he's the only guy. Maybe you're going to tell me otherwise. When I look at Graham, Cox, Hargrave, and Sweat, I just Philly's defensive line is just ferocious. The
Dave,
70
and they're running
sacks
in Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh for 8 to 12 plays just a
as
pass rush.
backups.
Yeah.
Yeah, backups. Yeah, I said pass rush, backups.
Yeah.
If you want to think about it that way.
Right.
Yeah, I
It's nuts.
to
It's
me,
absolutely the best defensive line I've seen in a long, long time.
yep. And so to me, it's a no brainer.
Right.
Chris Jones is certainly is a tremendous talent on the Kansas City side. You certainly have seen him change some games there. But if he's going up against, you know, what we're going to say is one of the best offensive lines, they potentially can find some ways to neutralize, slow him down. Whereas you look at the Kansas City offensive line, who are they going to pick to slow down? I mean,
right. You can't double team
right.
4 guys.
You
Right.
pick one and the other guy's going to come in
Right.
as far as that. So I think it was a no brainer on the Eagles D line.
Yeah, I agree. The Chiefs D line isn't, I mean, we saw they were second in
Right.
sacks.
55 sacks. Right.
Yeah. So, Jones is a huge part of that. You got Carlos Dunlap. Frank Clark is an all pro, even though he's a linebacker technically. And they got the rookie Califatis or whatever his last name is pronounced, who didn't have the year they were hoping, but still is young. But yeah, I mean, the Philly, I don't think the Philly defensive line's getting enough credit, and that's all you hear about, but still, it's so impressive. So as far as linebackers go, you and I both said it was a whitewash before we started recording. There's really no difference between, what I think are the two most insignificant positions on paper for this game. Of course, that's why we play the games, and we'll see
Sure.
if the linebackers do step up.
Right. So is it a Willie Gay, Hassan Reddick comparison? And you say those two are the ones to watch. I mean, certainly Hassan Reddick has been tremendous for
Right.
Philadelphia.
But
Um,
Jarius Sneed and Dunlap also for Kansas City are very nice. But they've got Philly's got some good tacklers too. I have no feel for this
yeah,
linebackers. I don't know. There's no stats for me to wrap my head around when I watch. When I watch these games, I feel like the Kansas City linebackers are better. I feel like they're making more tackle. They're better pass rush, but I don't. What
but
do
are
you
they
think?
but are they making more tackles because the D line isn't as good as
Right,
Philadelphia's is, and
right.
thus that's why they need to do that.
That's why you can't
Um,
quantify with stats this type of
yeah.
position. So, what do you think, buddy?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a wash too. Maybe a slight edge to the Eagles, but
Okay,
I don't know.
I'll go with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of lopsided positions and secondaries, it's just the Eagles, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is
Bradbury. Oh yeah.
this has got
Blankenship,
to
Slay. Oh yeah.
um, the biggest point of worry for the Chiefs and biggest point of advantage for the Eagles is the two secondaries. I mean, the Chiefs. I mean, you can call them toast all year because it's just been burned.
Very good. Very good.
And the Eagles are, tremendous, and Slay and Bradbury, one probably the best pair of lockdown corners in the league together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm. Against receivers that as we've
We said
talked, we just said are they're not subpar, but not great. And then you look at on the Chiefs side, with Cook and Johnson, you got two rookies out there.
right,
The lack of experience, Joshua Williams and Jalen Watson. Obviously, those guys have played a lot this year. They're not rookies anymore, if you wish, but still a lot of inexperience in the secondary against, again, a wide receiver group for the Eagles that we think is, is quite good and
pretty
is
decent.
it's yeah.
Yes,
I mean, it's not really an opinion, it's our
right.
opinion, but it is kind of factual, if you will,
Mm,
as far as that
Fake
goes.
news.
But yeah, I
Sorry.
think the secondary, big advantage,
Excuse me.
Philadelphia.
So, Dave, here we go. It's
Yep.
kicker time.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. What do you got?
That it is. So you got Butker, still a hilarious name every time I say it, for the Chiefs. And Elliott for the Eagles. Butker, I think, interesting. 3 for 7 on kicks of 50 plus during the regular season,
Right.
but 2 for 2 in the playoffs. So does he slightly redeem himself?
I've heard a lot of people say
Maybe.
the game-winning kick that we all agree didn't go through as far as was comfortable. It looked like it was in question midair.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying if he's 50 or over, you can kick it differently, lower, all that. More of a chance to get blocked, of course. I don't know.
3 for 7.
Based on three of 7 for 50 or more in the regular season makes me think, whatever technique you're changing to, pal, you're still like my golf swing, hard slice to the right. Yes, for sure. But
and then if you look, and I think the reason that I draw out the 50 plus is because if this game is close, I think you're gonna see 50 plus field goals as potential, game changers one way or the other. So that's why I focused on that. And Jake Elliott for the Eagles, 5 for 6 on 50 plus during the regular season.
Interesting. So I think I'd be surprised actually if we see a ton of field goals. I think, especially, everyone says when you play Kansas City, you got to score touchdowns, not field goals. And Sirianni likes to go for it. So I don't know. I think you're right to focus on the 50 plus, because if you are inside of that, and it's fourth down and, less than 6, you're probably going for it,
Yes.
Assuming the scoreboard, makes sense to do that. But
Mhm.
good point, Steve, as usual.
Yes. And no 50+ yard field goal attempts for Jake Elliott during the playoffs, because the Eagles have had 2
Haven't
blowouts.
needed.
So they haven't needed to do
What
that.
about the punters? Townsend for the Chiefs and Kern for the Eagles. The only thing I know is, isn't Townsend left-footed? Or maybe not.
I mm, hmm,
It doesn't matter.
not really, no.
Kick returners. Here's where it could be an issue, because Kadarius Toney is listed as the primary punt returner
Yes.
for Kansas City, and if
but
not,
Pacheco, right? He's done kickoffs.
Right.
You could put him back
Kickoffs.
there for punts.
They have this kid Watson. He's a
Yes.
fifth-year player out of the University of Pennsylvania, of the football maven of the Ivy League. And so, he's been around and he has some experience. He was with Tampa for a few years. So, whereas if a kick returner on Philadelphia, which is the aforementioned Boston Scott, my buddy, if he gets hurt, they're bringing in a rookie out of Utah. His last name is Covey, but let's hope we don't see either one of those players.
Yeah, there's going to be some punts, I think, probably not too many. The kickoffs tend to not really be a huge factor, because most of them go into the end zone. Weather not really going to be a factor in this game because they're in Arizona.
So
kind of a wash, I think, honestly.
Okay.
But if Kadarius Toney can't play, I mean, that's a big blow beyond just the return game for the Eagles or for the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I agree. They need his speed to take the top off the defense, whatever they can do. Coaching staffs, real quick. Head coaches, Andy Reid. Dave, there's 3 players on the Eagles that Andy Reid drafted. Got any idea who they are?
3 that he drafted. It's got to be some people.
One of them has a brother on the Chiefs.
So Jason Kelce, yeah. Lane Johnson, offensive tackle. No. Okay. Brandon Graham.
Yes.
And I'm just going by people at Fletcher Cox.
Yes.
Yep. I'm just going by people that have more than 10 years experience. Yep. Just give me time to scroll down through the roster. I can figure it out.
So Andy Big Red's career record is 233 and 135 and 1 stinking tie.
Yeah. It's way better with the Chiefs than it is with the Eagles. Way better. I was looking at it the other day.
Sirianni is 23 and 11. Not a bad start.
Nope.
Especially taking over, if you're coming in as a new head coach, obviously there's issues. So, the first year is going to be rough. My favorite thing to look up, challenges. Andy Reid on his career is 59 for 142 with a 48% success rate.
Okay.
Ranked the 9th lowest success rate in the history of challenges.
Okay.
And Sirianni, obviously a much smaller sample size.
Yes.
Is 6 and 4, 60%.
Okay.
I know. So that tells me that there's no real difference, really.
No, I mean, it really comes down to, what are the plays in the game that need to be challenged? And, that there's
Game
potential,
situations,
right? Game situations are going to come up or not come up. There's the potential that it's just not going to be a thing.
But we know Andy Reid's history and reputation for clock management and game management, like these kinds of challenges, isn't the best, especially when he was in Philly. I think in Kansas City, he's gotten a grip out of it a little bit, whether they hired, the 14-year-old kid I always want hired for his
Yep.
Madden skills.
Right.
But,
Challenge this, don't challenge that. Yeah.
right. My biggest pet peeve with all these coaches is the timeouts around the 2-minute warning.
Hmm.
When there's 2:03 on the clock, why wouldn't you take a timeout and get but so many times they let those 3 seconds go by,
Mhm.
and then they get down to the end of the game and those 3 seconds would have been valuable. But anyway, offensive coordinators. Oh, so I picked Andy Reid, if you couldn't tell, on the head coach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Eric Bieniemy, obviously, for the Chiefs.
It's a
around-
joke. It's a joke. It's
Right.
Andy Reid. I mean,
Right.
it's watching the AFC Championship game. I think they showed Bieniemy once.
Right. And that's why
There's a reason for
he
that.
doesn't get hired.
Yeah.
When he gets in the room and they ask him to break down film and talk about their concepts, I mean, of course he could talk about it,
Sure.
but it's clear that it's Andy Reid's program
Yeah.
and Bieniemy is just there.
Mhm.
The offensive coordinator, do you know the name of the offensive coordinator for the Eagles?
Nope. Donovan McNabb. I know it's not Donovan McNabb.
Steve Steichen. Steve Steichen this is his 7th team, but he met Sirianni years ago with the Chargers.
Oh, okay.
And he's basically Sirianni's right-hand man. And he's really credited with Hurts' growth over the last, year and a half, since they came on board, 2 years, since they got hired in Philly. So I'm going to give it to Bieniemy because it is Andy Reid, and
Yeah, that's fair.
you just experience.
Yeah, it's
and then defense, old friend Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs. I'm a fan because of his Giants days. I know he's been around and he's kind of got a reputation for being middle of the road, but he's getting it done with the Chiefs, and he got it done, a couple different places. And then the Eagles, his last name is, I don't know how to pronounce it, Dave. Jgnon. Janon? I don't know. Maybe
not gonna work here anymore.
Yeah, can you look up his name, because I'm thinking that's a typo at this point. But it's only his 2nd team in the NFL. He's been around. If Steichen is the right-hand man for Sirianni, this guy's the left-hand man, and they 3 of them are like the 3 amigos. They've met. They've been coaching together. Sirianni's brought them in when he came in with not a lot of experience, especially, never been coordinators before, but he's never been a head coach before. So it's like 3 buddies, having a good time in Philadelphia.
Wait, this is the Eagles defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Says John Gannon.
Oh,
Defensive coordinator of the Eagles.
you know what I did? I put Jay Gannon. So I remembered it was John.
There you
But I
go.
didn't put a space. Yes.
So is that a
little
fat,
inside
is that
baseball
a
there for
is
my
that a
note-taking.
fat fingers typing or
Yes.
just bad handwriting?
Worse.
I'm not sure how it's worse. Okay.
Speak to text and then correcting it to make it wrong.
So
That's
this is JG3?
Yeah.
No?
Anyway, I took.
Anyways. Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
our position breakdown. I think I have an idea where you're leaning listening to that, and I think you probably have an idea where I'm leaning. Anything else? Any stat? Any outside irregular thing that might happen, or you want to share with us, or something you've heard? Anything?
No,
before we
I
get
mean,
into our
I
predictions?
think we've gotten to everything. Now, of course, it's Monday, right? So there's definitely, as Mike mentioned, the Kadarius Toney piece. That's going to be a big factor, something to watch
Yeah,
as
you
the week
never
goes
know if
on.
someone heads to Mexico City during the
Um,
week or gets arrested for picking up
hold on.
prostitutes.
This is not the New York Giants we're talking about.
Oh, I'm talking about Barrett Robbins of the Raiders. Remember that? He went to Tijuana or whatever it was and didn't come home for the Super Bowl. Whoops. But anyway.
Oopsies.
I'll go first, Dave. I'm taking the Chiefs. I can't ignore
You're taking the Chiefs.
Chiefs plus 1.5.
Okay.
I can't ignore getting Mahomes and Reed plus points. Now, straight up, I'm still taking the Chiefs. I actually think this has the potential to be a comfortable win for the Chiefs.
Interesting.
I don't believe that the Eagles have really been tested. And I'm not like this casual football fan that says, oh, they haven't played anybody, but they don't really know what they're talking about. Not that I do know what I'm talking about, but in this case, I feel
well, you have been a podcast host for 3 years, so
thanks for
potentially you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I feel strongly that the Eagles are a paper tiger and that we're going to see Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have genius moments in this game, and that the Chiefs are going to win their second Super Bowl and establish Patrick Mahomes's
legacy.
Yeah. Hall of Fame highway.
Okay.
I just don't. When we look at these numbers, and we said at the top of this broadcast 7 hours ago, this is an evenly matched Super Bowl as far as we've seen. Probably the most evenly matched I can remember, Dave. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing one, or there'll be some obvious ones that our fans can point out. But yeah, this is going to be a well-played game. I don't expect a lot of sloppiness. I also, officiating wise, think that you are going to see the quietest officiated game all year.
Jesus, it better be.
Put the flags in your pocket. Let them mix it up. This is the Super Bowl. If the NFL walks out of the Super Bowl with the referees being the story again, that would be a crying shame.
Really, and I think now that you mentioned that, we didn't talk about that until now, which is just fine. That's a real area of concern. The officiating's been horrible all year. It's been horrible for at least 5 years. It's gotten progressively worse every year. Is a lot of that because of continued scrutiny and replay? Sure, of course. But we've seen some just, officials right on the spot, right there looking at the play, can't make a call. They don't throw a flag. They have my favorite, the officials conference that takes 5 minutes. And then they decide to throw a flag, or a flag has been thrown. They decide to pick it up. I am always just yelling
flag
at the TV, just make a call. Make a call. You saw something, make a call. And then we go from there. If you want to talk about but the ones where they just don't, they just sit there and talk about it. And then they go, I didn't really see what I thought I saw.
The line judge is right there, throws his flag, and then the back judge from 40 yards away at an angle comes running in and says, no, it wasn't a foul. It's like, you gotta be kidding me, folks. But so David, I picked the Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs to win outright. I picked the Chiefs to win with the spread. So like the over at 50.5 points.
Do you have a score prediction?
Yeah, let me give you that. 34-27.
34-27.
With a garbage touchdown for Philly at the end to
Kansas City. Okay.
That's me.
I'm going the other way. I like the Eagles in this game. I think their defense is going to make the difference in this game, make plays, make Mahomes uncomfortable. We talked about the secondary. Mike talked about the turnovers. I think the Eagles are going to get some turnovers in this game, enough to limit some of the Chiefs' damage. I am taking the Eagles with the points, and also straight up, and I'm going to be just a touch under. I'm saying 30-20 Eagles.
Oh, by the hook.
By
hook or by crook,
the
you get it.
hook. 30-20
Very
Eagles. Patrick Mahomes not getting it done. Still probably has a good game, but some turnovers in there. I'm not convinced that Jalen Hurts becomes the story in this game. I just think the Eagles defense will be the story, and the running game. Those are two things that Mike and I totally always agree with. If you can run the ball,
run
and play good defense, you have a lot of opportunities to win. That's what the Eagles have done all year. I think that's going to continue in this game, and the Eagles will win.
Okay, well, let's make it interesting. You want to bet a dozen of our favorite chicken wings on the game?
Ooh.
No, mine's garlic parm.
Chicken. I have had garlic parm. They
you
are
can
good.
have whatever flavor you want.
They're not my
when you buy mine.
favorite,
Okay.
but they're good. We can put a dozen chicken wings on this
Very good.
on this game. So there you go. There you have it, folks. There's a
Very
dozen chicken wings on our
Super
on our
Bowl
choices here on our
prediction.
Super Bowl. Now, what you didn't hear, if you are a longtime listener here at Think Tank Sports, is you did not hear any prop bets. And that has been something that we have done over the years with the Super Bowl. Hold on, friends. Don't be disappointed. We will be bringing Stevie Covers back in, and we will do prop bets this week. In Stevie Covers' return to Lose With Us special Super Bowl edition. You can look for that Friday before, just as your weekend gets going. You will see that. So we will get Stevie on, and we will do, the fat guy touchdown and how many doinks and all that kind of. We are going to be doing research here at Think Tank Sports for the next few days and looking at that. But we hope you've enjoyed this thorough breakdown, positions, the Super Bowl. We got score predictions. We've got chicken wings on the line. I'm going to take probably medium as a sauce for my chicken wings, just as an FYI. But yeah,
Dipping sauce, real quick.
Yep, different sauce.
Dipping sauce. Do you dip?
No.
Heavy blue cheese drink. Onward.
Just the wings and the sauce.
Okay.
For me.
I'll bring my own blue cheese, Dave.
Yep, bring your own blue cheese, because I don't have any. But yeah, so hopefully you all enjoyed our Super Bowl preview here at Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen. We enjoy having everything out there for you to listen. So listen, subscribe, download, comment, do all those nice things. Let us know what you think. If you don't like the way Mike looks, that's fine. You can write that down. If you like the way I look, you can put that down too. And if you don't like, and if you haven't figured out that Mike's not real happy with me right now, then go watch on YouTube, because then you'll see why he is not very happy. Here at Think Tank Sports, where we've had a great time talking about the Super Bowl, folks. We will be back at you with Lose With Us later this week. Please give us all kinds of great comments here at Think Tank Sports, where we strive for 5.